This is IAT355, Introduction to Visual Analytics. And in this lecture segment, what we're going to do is give an overview of the course, plus where to get information, and so on and so forth. So let's get started on that right away. So this spring, IAT355 will be taught mostly asynchronously. And what I mean by that is I have a bunch of pre-recorded lecture videos that will be uploaded online on my YouTube account. And you can access them through the IAT355 playlist that I will publish and is available in the announcements. And what you can do is you can look at the playlist and stay caught up there, but also on Canvas I have a bunch of assignments that are worth 0, but whose purpose it is to suggest to you when you ought to view the pre-recorded lectures. What we're going to also do is we're going to have synchronous sessions on Thursdays, starting this coming Thursday, January the 14th at 4:30. And I will, among other things, answer questions and play some of the pre-recorded videos, but not necessarily all of them. On Tuesdays, we will sometimes also have the TA do tutorials of the technical stuff that you will need for completing assignments and projects for this course for IAT 355. And so the sort of starting place for all the information is going to be Canvas, but it will point out to, for lectures and tutorial content, either if you miss them or if you want to follow along or whatever, you can go to my playlist on YouTube, which will reference my lectures and will also reference the pre-recorded lectures for the various tutorials. Okay, so that's the basic concept of how the course is going to be delivered. Let's now talk about who the who is, who's going to do this. So my name's Chris Shaw. I have a PhD in computing science, and I do research in visual analytics, as well as virtual environments and health analytics. And I also, historically to some degree, did two-handed 3D interfaces for 3D freeform surface design, scientific visualization, and information visualization. My teaching is courses like this, a graduate course that is an introduction to the technical stuff for incoming graduate students to see at, as well as video game design and programming and IAT355. The video game course is mostly done by Eric Yang these days. Now what we're going to do is we're going to have the TA introduce himself. So here we go.
Hey everyone, I'm Aunnoy, your TA for the course. I'm a third-year PhD student in Wise Lab, and I have completed my bachelor's and master's degree in computer science. My research interests are in the field of eye tracking and VR. And you can reach me through email, through my online office hours during Tuesday's class time, or by appointment. Just a quick note, when you contact me via email, please add IAT355 at the very beginning of your subject. That's all from me. Looking forward to an exciting semester with you guys.
All right, well, so that was Aunnoy. He's going to be our TA for the course. So what you are going to do in the course is learn about visual analytics and visualization and related topics like stats and data storage and things like that. And you're going to design, build, use, and critique visualizations, because not only is it important for you to make stuff, it's also valuable for you to be able to understand whether a visualization is working, enabling its designed task, and whether it enables you, or the viewer, the user, the analyst is how I'll refer to such a person, to answer questions that they may have about the phenomena that is represented by the data that is being visualized. So you will also develop an understanding of tools, techniques, and methods for approaching visual analytics problems. And you'll become familiar with how visualization and visual analytics expand the data science toolbox of approaches to complex problems. We're going to deal with moderately complex problems, perhaps even mildly complex problems in the course, but this will give you grounding for doing future work in dealing with complex problems represented by large data collections. So some of what that's about is to help figure out what kind of questions you need to ask of the data. And so that's something that I wish to emphasize throughout the course, that really it's important about what questions that you have for the data that will help determine what you need to do to answer those questions. You will also design and create visualization and visual analytics approaches to a defined problem. And we're going to start with assignment 1 with a little defined problem that is forthcoming. The assignment will be released shortly. For the project, which is coming up, we'll talk about that in a bit, you will also be finding data to ask questions of. You will write code using the various visualization toolkits we'll talk about in the course, and you'll design what we hope to be the right visualizations and build appropriate interactions with those visualizations. So that's what you're going to do in the course. The evaluation is that there are a number of assignments. The 2 assignments to start with are about analysis and design. And then there will follow a number of viz development assignments that are typically very closely aligned with the final project. And finally, there are going to be a couple of quizzes. One just after the February break on the Thursday, and one at the end of term, kind of the last day of class. So 2 quizzes. Those quizzes are 35% in total. The final project is 25%, but there's this overlap with the last 3 assignments. So assignments in total are 40-odd%, and the final project is 25%, and the quizzes are 35%. For the project, you can do it singly or in pairs. The idea is that you choose and you make what to do. We'd like it if you did it in pairs, because that makes the opportunity to do big projects, a little bit easier. But we recognize that, the pandemic is making that hard. We'll ask you to interact with real-world problems. That doesn't mean that the problems have to be important problems. It could be problems that are important to you, or concerns that are important to you. It could be about sports or video games, or any number of types of topics that are of interest to you. The thing that's important is that there has to be a good-sized chunk of data associated with those problems that you wish to analyze. So that's what the project is going to be about. You're also going to be, of course, designing visualizations about the data that you gather, and you'll do an assessment and analysis and give me a report and make a little video that summarizes your results of developing a visualization. So that's what you're going to do. So I perhaps have said some of this already. The phases are, first, for the final project, to determine a question and find an audience. Next, find some data. Next, develop visual analytics tools to get at the questions. And finally, tell a story about the data. And by that we mean what you're likely going to be able to do, given that you've analyzed the data, is you're not just going to show me a graph and say, look, here's some data. You are interested in answering a question, and the telling a data story is about the story of how you discovered the answer to that question. Some of the time, the answers to that question are, might have a dead end, but we're primarily interested in the kind of the smoothed path from discovering the data to giving us the results. So there are some examples online of past projects. One is city bike use in New York City at that Vimeo URL. And another is a feminist glance at films at that YouTube URL. Sorry for the gobbledygook, but at least it's short and can fit on the slide. Okay, so that's it for the first segment. What I'm going to do with these video segments is edit them and present them to you, but I'm going to have them hopefully 20-minute chunks, 20 minutes, sometimes a little longer, sometimes a little shorter, so that first off you are not having to scroll around to find the stuff you're looking for in the video. A good amount of these I will have chaptered up so that you can essentially go to the slide, or if there's a long chunk where we're looking at a piece of video, looking at something for say playing somebody else's video, I will chapter that video if it makes sense to do so. And the idea with small chunks is it gives us an opportunity to take a break. And that is the opportunity that we're going to take right now. So the little discussion, a very small one probably, is I'm just simply going to ask you, where in the world are you, Carmen Sandiego? So just get ready to answer that question either verbally or type it in the chat box. Where are you located right now?